Welcome to Habitly Courses, a production of Manage to Win. Each course is divided into multiple lessons for easy viewing. All are now completely free, so you can watch them on your own or work through them as a team. Please subscribe to this channel, leave a comment, and share your favorite lessons with others. Try to find something that helps you be your best.
Hello, this is David Russell. I'm back. We're talking about workplace drama, and I'm kind of building on this process of giving you information and things you can try. This final lesson, before my concluding thoughts, I want to focus on the 5 steps of a resolution run, where you're applying the reflective thinking. Now, I'm going to walk you through the 5 steps, and then I'm going to walk you through a second time giving an example of something that might be happening. So the situation is you recognize a pre-trigger, rising waters, or a full trigger, and start to emotionally flood. And you choose to stop, breathe, think reflectively, and go on a resolution run. So step number one is the energy of appreciation. So the objective here is you want people to feel accepted so their behavior can change. If you fight them or flight, you depart, that can't happen. So some tips here, you can communicate appreciation for the relationship. You can in some way demonstrate you're laying down your sword. It's safe for them to communicate candidly. You reinforce you're there to help, and you reassure them together we'll get through this. Now you'll notice on several of these slides, I've gotten a fair amount of my inspiration from How to Reduce Workplace Conflict and Stress, or another book or area. So if a chunk of what I'm talking about kind of was inspired there, I'm referring to it at the bottom of the screen. This is step number one. We want to help people feel accepted. So there's some energy here of appreciation that we build on. Number two, we got to move into fact mode. So we want to state the facts. We want to define the problem without any bias or emotion. So we're going to avoid interpretations and assumptions. And remember that their self-confidence affects their perspective. We want to try to avoid always and never statements because they're most of the time wrong. Things aren't always bad. Things aren't always good. Things aren't never good. Things aren't never bad. Okay? So if appropriate, we'll use some specifics or some numbers, but we're going to look for and speak to any patterns. That's one tip we can do. Oh, it looks like this led to this type of thing. So number two, state the facts. 3, seek to understand. So we're going to avoid assumptions. That's a key objective. By avoiding assumptions, we go on a resolution run. Remember those Columbo questions? So you ask a version of, well, what do you mean by that? And if additional information is needed, or you want them to think about it deeper, you can say, well, how did you come to that conclusion? Or can you help me understand why? And so you go with that approach. Number 3, we want to confirm the objective. So what we're trying to do here is move the focus from the present where there's pain to the future, the best possible solution. So we're going to move beyond the Q&A, the stating, restating facts, and we're going to confirm the desired outcome. We're going to explain what are we going to do to get to that desired outcome. And if appropriate, we're going to communicate what we want from the other party to help us get to that desired outcome. We want to be specific and we want to be positive. And how do we treat them at all times? With honor, dignity, and respect. So we keep communication channels open. And then number 5, to wrap it up, we agree upon a plan. We're going to confirm the action plan, any consequences, positive or negative, any negotiations. All right? And so basically these bullet points, we're assuring them the problem will be resolved. We're explaining the next steps. We're defining a time frame that meets their needs, or at least is acceptable. We're going to be specific. We're going to follow up as promised, under promise, over deliver, communicate openly, listen actively, If the other party does not want to act, we're going to explain the consequences without threatening them. And if the other party is still unhappy, confirm what you can do, not what you can't do, and respectfully ask them to support your efforts. Now, what does that look like when we apply it? Let me give you an example. So remember, the objective here is they feel accepted so their behavior can change. So maybe at the start I say something like, I'm calling about the service ticket you initiated regarding a problem, blah, 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 blah. You're a priority client and I will find a solution. You can see there's some energy there. There's some appreciation. Now, as we get to the end of it, they're thanking you and you say, it's my pleasure. That's a standard response, I believe, at the Ritz-Carlton. It's my pleasure. Is there anything else I can help you with today? No? Okay. Well, then I'll close out this ticket request. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. There's appreciation all the way through. Number two, we want to state the facts. So the objective here is to define the problem without bias. So let me just read you this example. Let me confirm the details I have, and then we can dive deeper, okay? My understanding is that John has the following issues. Number one, Shirley's emails are not being forwarded to her, but instead Shirley's mailbox is attached as a second mailbox. And you would like us to forward Shirley's email to John's account in exchange. Is that right? Okay. Number two, sometimes to get certain programs to open, John has to log in as Shirley's account on the computer to let people in. Am I correct so far? That just gives you an idea. Let's get to the facts. Now, number three, we want to seek to understand, so we want to avoid assumptions. Remember those questions? We can ask a version of, well, when they say something, we don't think it's right, or we need some clarification. Well, what do you mean by that? And then maybe we'll say, well, let's explore this further so I can get some details, okay? And if appropriate, I can immediately access their system, maybe with permission online, but okay, we're going to explore it further. Let's get some details. Are you on a deadline? Is this extremely urgent? Are there other people in the office that are affected? How many? Who are they? Okay. And then you're going to continue with versions of that. What do you mean by that? What happens when you do that? So we're basically avoiding assumptions and trying to understand with dignity, honor, and respect. Step number four, we're going to confirm the objective. So we want to move the focus to the future, the best possible solution. So for example, we might say, okay, then based on what we've talked about, our objective is to blah, blah, blah. Did I leave anything out? Pretty simple, pretty straightforward to do that. And then number five, you're going to agree to the plan. What's the plan? What are the consequences? What are the negotiations? So I'm going to assure them the problem will be resolved. Something like, here's what I'm going to do to resolve this issue. I'm giving the step-by-step. I promise to update you by blank and then whatever the time frame is after that. And once resolved, I'm going to give them a phone call if I'm not on site, send them an email, and close out my ticket. I'm going to confirm things. And by the way, when we're discussing consequences and negotiations, that's more of an issue with an employee where there's a problem, okay? But whether it's a client or whether it's an employee, we want to make the other person sincerely feel like they are a priority. Know your triggers and ideally other people's triggers. A concrete mindset is a choice. When triggered, respond with a new habit where you stop, you breathe, and you shift your attitude to curiosity, concern, and a dialogue that stops the flooding. You don't want to go into the blame game. Let me just walk you through a few steps here. These are just three questions, okay, to kind of talk about this and consider it in your specific work environment. Number one, apply this five-step process to service tickets or past business experiences to consider how a situation may have been improved based on what we just covered. You can stop the video here. I'm going to move on to two. Number two, consider how you might edit any of these steps to best serve your company and individual behavioral patterns. Okay, just like I don't want you to have a concrete mindset, this process is not set in concrete. Adapt it so it works best for you. Talk about that one. And third, confirm at least one behavioral change that you will make, or for each person in your group, a habit to develop that will help you avoid emotional flooding and shift to a resolution run with reflective thinking. And also, don't forget, how will you provide encouraging accountability for each person that's going to make this change? Okay? Because it takes some time. It takes 90 days typically minimum to start developing a new habit. This was the 5 steps of a resolution run. It is lesson 7, the last one that has an exam in this course. There's 5 questions here to talk about, how are you going to apply this? And I encourage you to study it carefully and pass the exam. And then you can listen to my concluding thoughts if you would like. This is the conclusion of lesson 7. Thank you very much. Bye for now.